in the first video, I talked a little bit about false beliefs people may have towards stuttering. Like, for example, sometimes people believe that I had this belief that there's only stutterers in my mother tongue. That in foreign languages, like in English, there's no people who stutter in the English-speaking world. So, but now I'd like to talk more about some specific things like the phonology, some specific challenges we face, not only we, but all language learners for people who are learning foreign languages. I just want to say something that I just remembered. Once there was this guy who said that, who said to me that in China there's no stutterers, and actually there is. So you see, it's pretty common to have um, those wrong beliefs, those false beliefs. So I think that the first thing we have to learn whenever we are studying any language is the phonology level. So the foreign sounds, it can be intimidating. So for me, when I started learning English, so this th sound there, and I was like, oh, what about, no, it's a bit anxiety even today to be stuck it in a because your tongue is in the middle and it can be, from the perspective of a Portuguese speaker, it can be a little bit unusual to have this sound. Also some vowels like uh, like earth, earth is pretty complex to produce, or like cut. No, these vowels we don't quite have this in Portuguese, and it's a bit hard, and we may feel this anxiety in producing them. But I think it's very important to go through it and producing, because in a foreign language you don't have such a big vocabulary. So you're gonna be confronted to words you cannot change, you cannot switch, and then what to do? See, uh, and also in the end it's even good because in the end you see that, wow, I'm capable of doing this sound. So you're gonna see, well, I not only can do the sounds of my own language, but I can also do foreign sounds, and then it can even improve your confidence somehow, thinking that my mouth can do so many different things, so many different sounds, and or combination of sounds. Sometimes you have both sounds that exist in your mother tongue, but you don't find them elsewhere. You don't find them in the specific combination. For example, in Portuguese, SL. We don't have SL like slope. We don't have SL in the beginning of a word. Slope, sly, or let's say another thing we don't have. I know that in Russian they put like smra, like SM in the beginning of a word, or sra. Like we don't have these kind of things, and um, this is challenging as well. What else? Yes, for example, Chinese has tones, and I remember when I was in China, it was a bit also worrisome because you have to. It's like when you pronounce a word. I had already to pronounce it in the right tone. You don't have time, in the pronouncing of the words to adjust the tone, especially because they are usually monosyllabic. So if you have to say, you have to say it right, and this was also anxiety generating for me. Yeah, and so this is for the phonological level, and then we have um, the grammatical level. That is another thing. That is making phrases in a different grammar from your mother tongue. So if you're studying, let's say, Russian, you have the declination of the words, or in Japanese, the verbs always goes to the end of the sentence, like Turkish as well. So these also, when you stutter, you cannot be switching words. You cannot be avoiding too much because you you don't have the knowledge to really, to manage all these as we do in our mother tongue, as I do in Portuguese. And I think in our mother tongue we're never assumed to be too wrong because it's our mother tongue. The person knows that you know, but in a foreign language, is readily assumed as a foreigner mistake. So there's also something, especially when you speak English, there is an expectation for foreigners to speak a good English. Somehow, because English is used in in commerce, is used in education, in higher education. There's more pressure to speak good English, and I think this can be, is even used sometimes as a sign of intelligence, and this is really bad. For example, if there's a very important scientist in a Spanish-speaking world, but he cannot speak English, so some people may believe that he's less intelligent than his peer, who is also in the same field of knowledge, but who can't speak as good English. Yes, I know this is very stupid, but many people believe on it, and you can see this worldwide. Many universities require English for foreigners, even though it's not the the official language of their own country. I know this has a lot to do with language imperialism, cultural dominance of the English-speaking countries. We can talk about Esperanto in another video, which is a kind of a counter proposal. It's more a democratic language for this, maybe a bit utopic, but I just want to make the point that, for example, whenever I speak English, I feel there's a more pressure to speak good English, even more from non-natives than from non-natives itself many times. Then let's say if we're speaking a minority language, let's say sign language, a Brazilian sign language, or Esperanto, or I don't know, an indigenous language, because people are more glad that we're learning their language, and yeah, you see, like it's not like we're doing these. No, they are already happy that we're doing this, and English is more like you were expected to do this. So I think there's also these two things to keep in mind. So the phonological level, learning, not being afraid of pronouncing sounds that you cannot, and even if you do it wrong, we have to have space for doing things wrong, right? Because how's it gonna be if we can do this right all the time? The words doesn't go like this, and even children, they do it wrongly until they can do it right. And yes, this is one thing. We have to be able to allow ourselves to make mistakes, to pronounce things wrongly. Secondly, we have to understand that it's okay. Like my English is not 100%. There are sounds of English that maybe until today I cannot make it right. For example, the distinction between bad and bad, like a bad person and the bed where you sleep. Um, yeah, so mm, this for me is not 100%. Or the beach, the beach where you go to in the sun, or the beach. So these kind of words, sheet, is troublesome, but overall, I suppose my English is understandable. So it shouldn't be a barrier, because real life language is not um, that like a square, so specific, even though sometimes we try to conceptualize it as such. But why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because these are all things that may add up into making a pressure and triggering more stuttering, but it shouldn't be. We have to have a wider understanding of language to really say that's okay to stutter in this foreign language, and being aware that these factors may add up, sum up, but then we're going to say, okay, this is, when we're aware of them, and then we can maybe debut it, we can maybe make it less powerful. So that's the main reason why I'm sitting them and just saying, yeah, that we people who stutter, we have to go through it. So basically, that those are the main points I'd like to make in this video. And let's see if there's anything more I'm preparing. Um, Maybe also finding good language partners. There are jerks in all languages, and there are people who are unpolite in all languages. So, but there are also people who are nice and helpful in all languages. So, I always try to find people who are okay with my stammering. So when I started learning Esperanto and English and French, I always was lucky to find people who didn't really care, usually. So that's it. And any more ideas or topics to comment, just write below, and probably I will reply, or we maybe we can think something, a new theme for a new video. Um, that's it.